Alert day conditions in two parts. Part one tonight for rain and wet snow and wind with thunderstorms late. Part two for the potential for redevelopment of severe thunderstorms on Wednesday. I've got the latest projection using Future Track.
It is election day here in Wisconsin. We preview some of the big races here, what it could mean for the nation's political climate. And we welcome you to News 3 Now at 6. Good evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Eric Franke.
And I'm Susan Simon. Sarah is off this week, and we begin with the weather. We're tracking the potential for severe storms later tonight and tomorrow.
Our weather team has been talking about these alert day conditions since last week. And for the latest, let's go to Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington to look at our first warn forecast. Alex.
Eric, Susan, southern Wisconsin, severe thunderstorms. The main focus is on Wednesday, although we could have, as you just mentioned, severe weather as early as late tonight. Part one is going to evolve here momentarily. It's already starting in parts of southwest Wisconsin. This is for rain, wet snow, and wind first out ahead of a warm front that's going to lift through. And as that warm front gets closer, expect thunderstorms later tonight as we head towards the rush hour, on Wednesday morning. Then that potential sticks around through the afternoon hours. If we get a little warmth building in, the threat of hail and strong winds will be present, but we can't rule out the chance of an isolated tornado. That part one radar 3000 right now showing snow stretching from Crawford County to just south and west of Madison near Monroe and over towards Darlington, mixed in with a little bit of rain. Again, southwest Wisconsin, if you are out and about right now, you're probably seeing the snowflakes fly or the raindrops falling. Here in Madison and Dane County right now, bit of dry air in place that will hold off those snowflakes and raindrops for just a bit, but it will move in tonight as we expect rain mixed with wet snow. Could briefly reduce visibilities at time in some of those heavier snow bursts, then turning over to all rain as we carry into the early morning hours of Wednesday. And then our attention turns to the severe weather threat. We'll show Future Track with the latest projection on how these storms will evolve in a couple minutes when I return.
All right, Alex, thank you. Turning to the spring election now, voters across the state have several big decisions to make that could have major implications for years to come.
That's right. It includes referendums, school board races, city council, and mayoral elections. Then, of course, there's state superintendent and state Supreme Court. We have team coverage in the field tonight for those two big races. Let's start with the Supreme Court race. The candidates, conservative Justice Brad Schimmel, liberal Justice Susan Crawford. And it's not just those of us here in Wisconsin that are keeping an eye on this race. Both parties and candidates have made this the most expensive judicial race in the history of the United States. For
more on this race, let's begin tonight with our Armand Rahman. He's covering Brad Schimmel tonight at the Milwaukee Marriott West Hotel in Pewaukee. Armand?
Yeah, Eric and Susan, in just a few minutes, we're going to be let inside here to the hotel for the watch party here tonight. Let's talk a little bit about this being the most expensive judicial court race in state history and in the country's history. Now, Schimmel raised more than $12 million in total, and a lot of that money is probably going to your screens. I've talked to political ad scientist experts about the harshness and the extra fear-mongering that both sides have seen in their political ads in this campaign more than in past Supreme Court races. And Schimmel himself says he's not a fan.
I think the best way to campaign is still old school, going and meeting voters where they are, talking with them about the things that are interesting to them and trying to earn their trust. TV commercials, I don't know. People don't seem to have a lot of faith in whether those tell the truth or not.
Let me first hand out two $1 million checks in appreciation.
Now, among Schimmel's top campaign contributors have been President Trump's right-hand man, Elon Musk, who reportedly spent more than $17 million to elevate this candidate. Trump himself had echoed many of the claims made in Schimmel's ads. Now, campaign staff have been in and out of the hotel here, getting ready for supporters to be let in once the polls close. Meanwhile, some dark attack ads have also been levied by Schimmel's opponent, Dane County Judge Susan Crawford. Our Maddie Heimch is back in Madison following her campaign. Maddie, does she have anything to say about the messaging?
Armand, pretty similar notion over here with the Crawford campaign. Like you said, if you're familiar with this race, or honestly, if you're not familiar with this race, you're probably familiar with the ads that have been plastered all over the airwaves, all over your phone, and seemingly growing in frequency as we came up to voting today. And this all ties back into those campaign finances, these ads in part making this race the most expensive state judicial race in history by far. And Crawford says, much like you heard from Schimmel there, she's not a fan of the ads, but she does feel like her campaign message has landed.
Well, I feel like we communicated pretty effectively, and the campaign ads, the ad wars are not my favorite. I wish that there were better ways to get our point across than those 30-second sound bites. But overall, I feel like voters got a chance to know who I am and what I stand for.
WISC Politics tallied total campaign spending in this race at just over $100 million over the weekend. The runner-up to that sort of spending in a race like this was the Janet Protasewicz race versus Dan Kelly for a seat on this very same court just 2 years ago. And in third place for that sort of spending was a 2004 Illinois State Supreme Court race. That race there was about $15 million spent, so $100 million in this race. It's just unprecedented numbers that we've been seeing. But as for tonight, it's not those ads and it's not that nationwide spending that's going to help the candidates. It is turnout at the polling places from Wisconsin voters. We're going to hear a little bit more about that from our team coverage coming up. But for now, reporting live at the Park Hotel in downtown Madison, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
Maddie, thank you, and to Armand as well. And we turn our attention now to the race for state superintendent. The role is elected every 4 years and oversees public education across the state.
Incumbent Dr. Jill Underly looking to win a second term or challenging Brittany Kinzer is a former science and special education teacher and owns an education consulting firm. News 3 Now's Ellie LaLiberte and Meryl Hubbard are covering each candidate at their respective watch parties tonight. We begin with Ellie at the Concourse Hotel in Madison, head of that watch party there. Ellie?
We're still about an hour out before people start trickling into Underly's watch party here at the Concourse Hotel. But I spoke with her just a couple of hours ago, and she says she's very confident in this race. She says she has a proven track record of serving public schools in Wisconsin. Now, whoever wins state superintendent will lead Wisconsin schools through the Trump administration's effort to dismantle the Department of Education and send power back to the states. But that's something Underly says that she's prepared for.
I think this role, the state superintendent, has just become even more important when you look at advocacy for, programming that would come from the federal government or the state government.
Now, I also asked her if reelected what some of her first priorities would be, and unsurprisingly, we talked money. She says she's hopeful that her $4 billion proposed budget will get through. We also talked about school referendums. In 2024, Wisconsin voters approved a record number of school referenda. In fact, today, just about 30 districts in our viewing area are asking their voters to increase the tax levy limit. It's something that's really taken center stage in this race. And on News 3 Now at 10, we'll be inside the Concourse Hotel here to bring you updates from Underly's campaign. But I want to turn it over now to our Meryl Hubbard, who's following the Kinzer campaign for us. She's live at a polling location on Madison's east side. So Meryl, what sets Kinzer apart?
Yeah, Ellie, if Brittany Kinzer is elected, she'll be the first GOP-backed candidate to take on the superintendent seat in the last 30 years. Some other things that set her apart from her opponent: she's in favor of school choice and private school vouchers, big on literacy and developing math skills for kids. She has said she wants to reverse Underly's cut scores and return to testing kids with the national standard. As far as funding goes for schools, she says that she believes local voters can decide on the levy limit through referendum, but she also says state funding formula needs changing. Now, Kinzer voted this morning in Wauwatosa. She said it was surreal to see her name on the ballot and that she's feeling the pressure now that Election Day is finally here, but she also sees the supporters for her campaign.
I know that I've received a lot of support from Republicans, Democrats, Independents, especially today. I've been getting a lot of different support from all across the different spectrums, and I'm really grateful for that.
Now, Kinzer calls herself a moderate and is endorsed by Republicans in the state, like former Republican governors like Tommy Thompson and Scott Walker. But she's also received support from others, including former mayor of Madison, Dave Cheslevich, or commonly known as Mayor Dave. Now, current Democratic Governor Tony Evers has not endorsed either candidate. Now, coming up tonight, I'll be going to her watch party in Wauwatosa. We'll bring you there live with updates. But for now, I'm going to toss back to you guys in studio. Reporting on Madison's east side, Meryl Hubbard, News 3 Now.
All right, Merrill, Ellie, thank you. Meanwhile, statewide voters will get to weigh in on a constitutional amendment. If approved, it would enshrine a voter ID requirement to the state constitution. It's already required to present an ID to vote. Adding it to the Constitution would simply make it more difficult for a future court or legislature to change that rule.
News 3 Now is your home for election coverage tonight. Remember, voting ends at 8 p.m. and as long as you're in line at 8 o'clock, you can still vote. You can find your polling place and what's on your ballot at myvote.wi.gov. Wisconsin law requires you to bring a valid photo ID to vote. That can be a driver's license, a DOT-issued ID card, a passport, or a military ID card from the U.S. Uniformed Services. Still to come tonight at 6, why a Platteville music teacher is in custody in Alabama.
Plus, an update on a student hospitalized in the Abundant Life Christian School shooting, what UW health officials are now saying about that individual's condition. Stay with us.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
A Platteville music teacher is in custody for allegedly having child sexual abuse material. It's according to the Platteville School District. Owen Strizik is on leave until the outcome of the investigation is determined. The 48-year-old was arrested in Alabama, where he faces charges of electronic solicitation of a child and traveling to meet a minor for an unlawful sex act. Strizik teaches music at both Platteville middle and high schools. District leaders say the alleged crimes did not involve any Platteville students.
A student hospitalized after the Abundant Life Christian School shooting is back in critical condition. That's according to UW Health. 3 people, including the shooter, died in the December 16th attack. The student was one of 6 people also injured. Back in January, UW Health had upgraded the student's status to good condition. Right now, the student's family is asking for privacy.
Well, the votes are in, and we are gearing up to announce the winner of our Spirit of Service campaign. One of these 5 veterans will win $5,000 presented by Vortex. Tune into News 3 Now this morning. Tomorrow at 6 a.m., the folks at Vortex Optics will be joining our Josh Sprider with the official check presentation. Again, that is tomorrow, April 2nd, right here on News 3 Now. Still ahead, our coverage of the Wisconsin spring election continues.
After the break, political reporter Will Keneally sits down with political analyst Brandon Scholes. We'll talk about some of the key races across the state.
Plus, severe weather heading to southern Wisconsin. Alex rejoins us to take a look at the latest radar and the outlook for tomorrow when we come back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Welcome back. Of course, it is Wisconsin's election day right now, the spring election, and some big races that really the whole nation is paying attention to.
For more, let's check in now with our political reporter, Will Keneally. He has a closer look at the races we'll be watching tonight. Will?
That's right. So for those at home who have not voted yet, there's still time. So I encourage you, definitely go out, check your polling location, all that stuff at myvote.wi.gov. But we haven't seen numbers yet in the race. Polls are still open, but we have seen some early numbers, and that's what I want to delve into with our political analyst here, Brandon Scholes. And thanks again for joining us.
Nice to see you.
We'll be here all night, but I want to start what we were talking about an hour ago. We got the news from WISCpolitics.com looking at turnout in Washington County, one of the suburban Milwaukee areas, key for conservative turnout. That has hit 70%, or they're expected to hit 70% today, which is up from what we've seen 2 years ago. Now, I also want to bring in this map here. This shows what the turnout has looked like compared to the state Supreme Court race 2 years ago. It's what we're seeing now. Turnout across the board is up about 50-ish% across the states. I want to start here with this idea. This orange box here, these are the areas of the states that Brad Schimmel conservatives would need to turn out well to win this election. What are we looking at here?
It's interesting how the state breaks down, because if you kind of work from the top down, which is how the color scheme goes, on the very top, if Schimmel were to hit these numbers, we see that it says he needs like a 54% of this part of the state to win. It's doable because for Schimmel, that's Trump country. As you work yourself down into the green center part of the state, again, Trump country. You get into the left, to the side of the state where it's blue, he may only have a piece of that he can get to, because in the lower part, that's where Crawford, and we know from previous campaigns, Protasiewicz won that purple part and this kind of aqua color down here. As you move to the eastern part of the state, and you see that purple part of the state where it's Door County and it's the Fox Valley, Brown County, we refer to Brown and Outagamie and Winnebago counties as the Bow counties.
And that's where Musk was over the weekend.
And that's where, in Green Bay, that's where Musk was. That's a great opportunity for Schimmel to pick up votes to win or to get close. In the same respect as we're looking at the green in this aqua, those are regions, Milwaukee County, Dane, that Judge Crawford will need to do well in. And these numbers say for Crawford needs to win these to win big. So we don't know if that's maybe a 3 or 4 or 7 point victory, but it really tells you where candidates are going to have to go in this race all day today. And for the last 2 weeks, it's all been about turnout, identifying voters and getting there. So the story we see about Washington County says somebody did a really good job of getting people to the polls to vote. And the numbers show. We don't know who won, but we could speculate that that's good for Schimmel. Around the rest of the state, it's yet to be seen.
And so 2 years ago, this was an 11-point victory for the Liberal in that race. A lot to kind of watch out for this election as we see the polls close at 8 o'clock. We'll continue to keep you updated throughout the evening.
Look at you.
But for now, we'll send it back to you guys.
All right. Will, Brennan, thank you. Alert day conditions are in the forecast for us. Alex is back with a complete look at the forecast.
Yep, part 1 right here live in our first Warren weather cam in Dodgeville. Snowing out right now. We're going to have that rain-snow mix. You see the camera moving a bit. It's windy. This is part 1 of our alert day conditions. Radar 3000 all blue on Dodgeville at 18,151. As we zoom on out here, this is that very first band of precipitation in the form of rain and in some cases some heavy wet snow that's going to be preceding a warm front that will lift through southern Wisconsin later tonight. And that band stretches from Viroqua to Richland Center to Lone Rock, just now reaching the far southwest part of Madison and also getting very close to the Monroe and the Janesville area. So snow, rain mix, future track showing that, then lifting more towards the north as we head towards 9 o'clock as everything turns over to rain, then enter the scattered thunderstorms as you join Jacob tomorrow morning. Widespread showers and thunderstorms. Some of these storms could produce small hail. We can't rule out an isolated severe storm during this time. Our future track is showing a potential break in the scattered showers and thunderstorms as we head towards noon. If that materializes, watch what happens as we head towards 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Some scattered thunderstorms redeveloping, and if this scenario pans out, we'll be keeping a very close eye on it. These are the storms that could produce all hazards, including tornadoes. We do have a high risk here for wind and hail with any storms that form on Wednesday. We're keeping an eye on that tornado threat, which is all dependent on how far north warm air can make it into southern Wisconsin. Much of the area is under a level 2 out of 5 risk for severe weather, a level 1 out of 5 towards the north up towards Camp Douglas and the Dells. Best chances for severe weather eyeing up Platteville to Madison over to Watertown and south towards Janesville, Monroe, and also including our communities over towards the Elkhorn area. We have all these ingredients in place: moisture, energy, warmth, and lift. If those clouds and showers hold on a little bit longer tomorrow, hopefully that's the case. That will help keep the severe weather threat reduced during the afternoon, but we'll be keeping a very close eye on how things evolve during the morning. And as I mentioned, Jacob will be here in the morning and at noon, and then Blaze and I will take over during the afternoon hours. Let's time this all out again. A lot of information there. Rain, snow mix through the early morning hours. Maybe a strong storm towards 6 o'clock in the morning. Hail would be the main threat. The showers become a little bit more isolated as we head towards the late morning hours, but we can't rule out an isolated strong storm still during this time. But that's that break. If we get that break, then severe threats increase for all modes, meaning the potential is there for an isolated tornado or two. Good news is once we get to 7 o'clock, all the storm activity will be out of southern Wisconsin. So that's the full timeline there of our alert day conditions. And after alert day Wednesday, generally quiet overall in our 10-day forecast. We'll be right back.
I'm very grateful, appreciative, and I'm beyond fired up. When I was at Illinois State, I always had my eye on this job, and I thought it would be a really, really special place to coach someday.
And that day is today, as the Robin Pingeton era of Badger women's basketball is officially underway. Wisconsin introduced Coach P this afternoon, and it was a full circle moment for her. She takes over a program she calls a sleeping giant and is ready to hit the ground running to bring Badger women's basketball back. And for Coach P, Well, she always knew this place is a special one.
It definitely was something, and I don't know, I can't recall back, what exactly it was, but it was always a place that I thought, I've heard so many great things about it. Has it changed today? No, if anything, I'm even more excited. I know this is a special place, and I feel very blessed and honored to be a part of it, and I can't wait to get to work.
Zach, thanks. And coming up at 10, results from the election, team coverage from all the big races, and the results from some of the more local races as well.
And a final check on the weather we're watching as well.
Yep, it starts tonight. Rain, snow mix already across southern Wisconsin. Some briefly reduced visibility as that turns over all to scattered thunderstorms later tonight. In the First Warn Weather Team, we are all here tomorrow keeping an eye out for the potential for severe weather during the day.
All right, Alex, thanks again. Stay with us for all the results. Channel 3000 and tonight on News 3 Now at 10.